Yay. Okay, awesome. Welcome, you guys. I'm super excited for this call. So, if you were in Grand Rapids this weekend, you experienced some awesome stuff, whether you could just make it to one day or the other, or if you were here for all of it. If you weren't here in Grand Rapids, this is exactly why we're doing this call. There are a few of you that just couldn't make it into town, a few of you that live in town that just traveling, events, appointments, whatever. I know summer is a very busy time, but there was too much greatness to not share with you guys here. We had a couple big aha moments from different people that we want to share. I had someone message me what to say because she's not able to get on, but a couple ladies that wanted to speak up, and then we'll also allow if anyone else wants to jump in and share. We would love to hear from you. So I see Marie on here first. So Marie, if you would have do the honors of unmuting and sharing, you guys, this was my first time meeting Marie. This was Marie's first time at any kind of Ravenly events outside of just local things that Tara and Amanda do with their team in Illinois. But Marie, will you please share with the team, the collective whole, what you thought of your trip in Michigan and the founding family and all the things?
I just have to say, first of all, meeting Aspen, total fangirl moment. Just how down to earth everybody is and how welcoming everybody is, it is mind blowing. I've worked with several corporations and not, mostly in healthcare, but like don't mind, my dog is probably going to be in the background here. He was very happy to see me yesterday. You don't have that sense of community. You don't have that sense of family where the high ups actually give a crap about you and your family. And to me, that's huge, because as somebody that's been in management before, that's how I am. Like, I'm not concerned about the bottom line. Like, I'm concerned about the patients, my team. And it's really good to be part of something that has the same values and thinks the same way that I do. So that was one of the big things for me. Just hearing a lot of the stories, Brittany Beck had talked about growing up in poverty, and that struck a chord with me because I did not have the best, bringing up as well. And there are things that are ingrained. Tara and I just had a conversation about this. There's things that are ingrained in my brain since childhood. Like, we were supposed to be quiet. We weren't supposed to speak unless spoken to. So getting out of my head and trying to get out of my comfort zone, seeing how, they got through that, and just like, oh my gosh, if they can do that, I can do that too. It was very eye-opening for me. And it was great to just spend time with my team and meet all of you guys. I'm a Michigan girl. My family is from Michigan. So it's nice to get back there. Just the sense of how laid back and just how human everybody is, and not, the hoity-toity, and just very down to earth and very humble. And I mesh with that. Like, I don't mesh with the corporate big wigs that are just suits and ties, and like they don't interact. And I like to interact with people when I'm comfortable with them. It's hard for me to do that when I'm like fresh into things. So like, that's something that I'm working through. But just, I learned a lot of things, like I'm going to set a daily goal, like how many people I'm going to reach out to. And, I started making lists today, and I pretty much up until about 2:00 today was working on stuff, and it just felt really good to be able to reach out to people, because like I had told you guys, I have tried other products from other companies, and I just couldn't do any of them. And then when Amanda brought me to a Sip and Social, and I was able to taste everything, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I can actually drink this. I can actually take these. And to be able to share that with people is amazing. And like, even just if I can't, get them to a sip and social, like I told a friend today, like, I will come meet you. I will come to your house, or I'll send you some samples. So it's just been a really eye-opening and just kind of the jump start that I needed to get out of my own head and get out of my own way. And just embrace, as Amy said yesterday, embrace the plot twists.
Yeah.
Because life has definitely had a lot of those in the last couple of years. So definitely looking forward to growing bigger and stronger and just helping other people along the way.
I love
Hey,
that.
Marie, I don't want to interrupt you, but can you were talking about just seeing how down to earth everyone is. Can you share about your experience at the beach on Saturday?
Yeah, so that unfortunately not everybody made it to the same beach on Saturday. Thankful to Amanda for getting us on the same beach as Brittany Beck and Aspen and her family. That was just to see them, interacting, and just hanging out with us and having a good time. And Brittany Beck just jumped right in the water and was telling us stories. There's one about fish. We won't get into that, but like, it had us all laughing. Like, we were just enjoying our time with her. She even told us an embarrassing story about herself. Like, in a million years, I never ever would have thought somebody like, they don't share that kind of things. They kind of keep that close to the vest. It was just wonderful for her, and truly like asking us questions and, curious about why we're doing what we're doing. And it was very humbling to be able to spend that time with both of them. It was, I was just in awe.
I love that. I say the same thing every time I go to an event and I talk to people like the Brittany Beck, who's there's not the Brittany Becks because she's the #1 income earner, but anyone up at the top, tippity top, I'm like, they're just normal people. But you have to be around them and talk to them to realize they're no different than you and I. They just have been doing it longer, have been more courageous, have pushed, you know what I mean? They've been more
Yeah,
consistent in.
people can tell you that they're down to earth and they're humble, but until, like, literally until I met them and met all of you, it doesn't click until
Yeah.
you meet them in person.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you for sharing, Marie. And I'm so glad you got to come and I got to meet you.
I'm so excited.
Yay! Love it, love it, love it. Okay, Bridget, are you willing to share with us tonight, my friend?
Bridget! Sorry.
Can you unmute?
There we go. Oh, there we go. I think I'm unmuted now. I apologize in advance if my dogs bark. They have been glued to my side since I got home this afternoon, and we've really kind of been sleeping since I got home this afternoon. It was a long trip, but absolutely worth it, and I would do it again in a million years. I am one person who loves a road trip, so I will go literally anywhere. And I think just being in person at events can help to get your passion and your drive back, and trying to kind of remember why you're doing the things that you're doing, and just be in touch and feel all of the love that gets poured into you when you are there in person, and get to hang out with them and do like everyday things like going to the beach and meeting their families and stuff. I love meeting everybody's families, and all of Lori's animals, all the girls there. And yeah, it was just amazing, getting to meet new people and connect with like-minded people. I mean, like, we're constantly making the ask, right? We're constantly making the ask of people who are not involved or included within what we're doing already. And we get turned down a lot. So that's really kind of a negative experience if you think about it. So when you get into the rooms and you're with all of the people and just chatting and able to spend the time, like it makes you feel differently. Like you don't feel like that weight of like, oh, they're just going to say no, or So I think it is really important to go to the events and be able to connect with the different people. And I mean, yeah, I got to chat with Brittany back at the event on Sunday and like talking about our childhoods and somewhat similar. And yeah, it's very different. It's I've never spoken to Brittany back in person, so that was really kind of cool. And yeah, I don't know. I loved my time there. I loved it.
I
It was
love it.
really,
I'm so glad you made the trek over here. That was how many hours was your drive from Minnesota?
it was 8.5. I mean, it seems like more just because, I kind of broke it up, but
Sure. Sure.
in a sense, like if I would have stayed another night, like I would have, like I'd be just getting home, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So you guys, Bridget came to, well, she lives in Minnesota, but she came to the Minnesota event that Lori and Sarah and I traveled to a couple months ago. I don't remember what it was. They're all March, right? It was in March.
Yeah.
And we went to dinner the first night with Aspen and her family, and Ricky, who was like Brittany's counterpart, top of the company. So she got to meet Ricky then, and Ricky taught her, like, took her hand and talked her through the process of prospecting well, it was a male then, but our waiter at the restaurant. And she did it, and she got his number and she gave him a sample. Did you even have the sample, or did Ricky give you the sample to give to him?
No, I had the samples.
You had the sample that day. Okay. So she did it. And then last night we were at dinner after the event with Aspen, and there was a whole bunch of us then. And she was at a different table than me, but Amy on my team was kind of sitting back to back to me, and she like nudged me. She's like, "Nikki, check this out." And I turned around, and there's Bridget prospecting our waitress. She's like, "Here, have a sample." And I didn't hear the whole conversation, but I got a number. And Amy was just like so impressed, like, "I can't believe she's doing this." And the girl from Minnesota, the furthest away between you and Tammy, I don't know who drove further, but the girl furthest away is the one prospecting the waitress in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was like, "Go, Bridget, go." And then she says afterwards, she goes, "And I got another one in the bathroom, a pregnant lady. She just needs to stay home with her babies." I'm like, yes, go, Bridget. So you never know what you're going to learn, even at the table at the restaurant after the event. So super proud of you, Bridget.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Sarah was just like, do we need to have another replay of the Minnesota event when we were at dinner afterwards? Like, wait, what? And so I thought about, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
So you did good.
I can do that.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Perfect.
Definitely. You all.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, one more for sure I want to share, and then we can open up to anyone else who wants to share. But Rhonda was another person, and this wasn't Bridget's first event, because like I said, she was at the Minnesota one, she went to conference, but this was Rhonda's very first experience at a Bravenly, like a corporate event. And she's not able to be on tonight because she works a crazy wild shift, and so she's sleeping right now, but she was very honored to share. And so she typed up something for me to read out loud to you guys. So this is what hers says, and I'll try to do it justice with her energy. But she says, "Have you ever walked into a room and felt the power of positive energy? Let me tell you, it was so powerful walking into the Meet Bravenly yesterday in Grand Rapids. I was so full of anticipation, excitement, and so freaking happy to finally hug some of the incredible leaders, sidelines, uplines, and Ashley and Aspen and Brent and their family. I walked in and the chatter was inspiring. People running up to each other to get that first hug, that, 'Oh my goodness, you are more beautiful than I even imagined.' The, 'I feel like I've known you forever and you are even sweeter and kinder than I thought you would be.' This right here was amazing. I will relive those moments for the rest of my life. Walking up to Aspen and Brent and introducing myself and thanking them for this incredible opportunity with Bravenly was awesome. She hugged me back and welcomed me, and I felt like I was a top leader. Even though I'm not there yet, she treated me like she treated the top leaders. Wow, just wow is all I can say. I felt like I was on top of the world, sitting right next to top leaders, feeling their energy, borrowing their mad skills, and picturing myself in front of a room full of people telling my story, inspiring others that they have exactly what is needed to be successful with Bravenly. I am fired up. If you have never been to an event, you need to go. We all need life spoken onto us, and these kinds of events are what will help take you to the next level. The energy alone will fill your soul with pride, power, and that feeling of knowing you are in the right place at the right time with the right family. And I just got chills like reading that again out loud because she's so right. So right. Anybody else want to share? Christina was there, Tammy, you were there, Amanda, Tara. Any takeaways that you guys heard from the event that you went home with and ran with? Any nuggets?
Don't make me type all your names. Just unmute and share the nuggets.
Sarah, Lori, I mean anyone, you guys, if you've got a
Okay.
specific.
I'll do it real quick just because this came off the top of my head when Bridget was talking. So obviously I've been to quite a few events, but I think for me, a lot of times it is kind of like that same thing. It's being in the room with everybody and hearing from like people's stories that I've never heard before. So like a couple people, like brand partners shared kind of like their why Bravenly, what it's done for them. Like Corey's, Mickey's husband shared about his testimonial with the products, and a couple other people did. So I think that always kind of re-inspires me to be like, oh, like what we have our hands on is actually really amazing. And I need to be more bold and share it more because it was awesome. The one that really stuck with me was Amy's. I don't remember her last name. But she kind of shared about like plot twist and how we have plot twists that happen in our lives that we probably don't expect. And kind of how that tied into like why she said yes to Bravenly and what it's done for her so far. Like tears coming down my eyes after she shared. So that was really inspiring. So it's kind of re-inspired me to be like, hey, I need to be more bold and share even more because Bravenly is doing big things for people. And I think sometimes I forget that because I've been here for 3 years. So it's like, I've like heard and seen it all. But then when I go to these things, it's like, oh, never mind. I haven't.
Yeah.
So that's
Haven't
one
scratched
off
the
the top of my
surface.
head.
I love it. Thank you, Christina.
I'll go. One of my big things was just again realizing how much I need to really get some in-person events going here because I have a huge market that has never ever heard of Bravenly ever. And I realized with my husband sitting there next to me that I have a huge resource in my own house because he is a safety, environment, and quality manager at his job, and he does all their training. And so I was like, oh, he could probably put on a pretty good presentation. So that was my big thing. And I loved Amy too, Christina. She really was a lot of just inspiration and fire. I actually reached out to her on the way home, and sitting with Jenia at dinner was interesting. I had never really met her face to face, person to person. So just talking to her about like her kids and just life in general and business management. There was just a lot to it. I really was so glad that we came.
I was too. It was nice to meet Don too. Tammy traveled and brought her husband this time, so it was really fun to reconnect and to meet Don, and I love it.
Yeah, he really liked connecting with people, like actually getting to meet people.
Yeah. Thanks, Tammy.
And Corey had a lot in common.
They did.
I will go next. I will echo what everyone else said. Amy was absolutely fabulous. I had tears from her.
she speaks with such conviction. But if you were there, you know what she deals with and talks about the plot twists and stuff. But that woman has a heart of gold. I'm actually meeting up with her next weekend. I'm super excited to have that resource so close to me and to have someone else to collaborate with. One of the huge things that I loved is that for a long time, it was just Amanda and I building, and we consistently followed up with all of our teammates and trying to get them to come to events just so that they could recognize what this could do for them. And I am so thankful for Amanda basically not strong arming Marie and Kim, but she really turned this into like a fun girls weekend instead of just like a trip to a Bravenly event. And it was a time for us to bond and just like kick back, relax. Like I know their big highlight was that we basically got the Emerys and Brittany back all to ourselves on Saturday. And I don't think that was a coincidence at all. I love that they were able to see that the top people in our company are just normal people. But just how much, like, for me, just seeing like Brittany back as a top income earner, a lot of people think like people that are stuck up and they don't have time for people, but she literally was with us, talking to us the entire time on the beach. And then later at dinner, she said hi to us. At the event Sunday, she said hi to us, had a conversation with us. And everybody on this team knows that at conference, she fell down the stairs. And I have kept my mouth shut about that because I'm like, that's not my story to tell. And I'm not going to embarrass her like that. And she shared with the team and she was like, Tara was there and saw it all. And I was just like, I'm glad you told them because I wasn't going to say a word. But it was a great opportunity for them to just see again, we're just normal people here. And I think it's really opened their eyes to if she can do that, so can I. And in our conversation on the way home yesterday, Amanda got us like working right away on our goals and getting into action within the next 24 to 72 hours. And we have some great things that we're working on, but I'm just excited to see what it's going to do for Marie and Kim's business, having been their first event, because there's definitely a fire lit. And I'm glad that Amanda and I have been persistent. I think it goes to show a lot of us have people on our team who just aren't present and they're not active. And I think if you just keep being consistent and keep following up and just keep inviting and extending the opportunity to them, eventually they're going to come to something and catch a vision and a spark's going to be lit. Instead of just saying, you know what, forget it, I'm done working with them. I've tried, so many times to get them to something just to see. But I think it's a great testament to show that once you can get them somewhere to an event, their business is going to blow up, right, Marie?
Tara,
Yeah, and of course I love everybody. Like we're like the faraway team, but I know like any opportunity we have to come up to Michigan, like this is my 5th time up to Michigan in the last 2 months. And I missed out on a family camping trip this last weekend, but I feel like it was worth what I got out of it this weekend.
I love it. Thank you, Tara. Way to go, Amanda. Strong arming your people into changing their lives. Awesome. All right. Does anybody else want to share a takeaway? I know one thing you guys feel free to unmute and I'll see you and then I can stop talking. But one thing I even said, like, as I was on stage next to Jenya doing our top tips from the top, and I've heard Jenya say this before, but it just hit me differently. Like, you can hear the same thing a million times. It just hits you some way one time. But like, I think it was because it was a real life experience. Her former potential, now brand partner, was in the room. She drove up from Illinois also, but it started with a conversation in a random, whatever her obsession, Lily Pullout, whatever, a brand of dresses, bright tropical dresses she's obsessed with. So she's in a group on Facebook that they buy, trade, sell. Like, we're all in random groups on Facebook. Find your groups, find your things. What, you're a hockey mom, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a dog mom. It doesn't have to be a mom. That's just what came to mind. Whatever it is, find your groups. Because Jenya's real life experience was she read from her phone. She's like, I usually don't put my phone on stage, but she read the first message she sent this girl that just said, oh my gosh, hi, I see you're in the same Lily group as I am. And just asked her random questions about the dresses or something. And fast forward, that their friends on Facebook, that girl asked her about her coffee one day and she signed up as a brand partner. She was in the room on Sunday. So it's just how I don't want to say we, how I often overthink how these conversations need to start. You just have to be human. You just have to be a friend. If you ran into somebody in the store, I say all the time, I said yesterday, so I'm the weird person. It's like, oh my gosh, you have on a wallet too. Aren't they the best water bottles? It's literally the same thing, just online. Find something that you have a common ground with, start the conversation, be a friend, and then eventually Bravenly may or may not come up, but it doesn't have to be weird. So that was my big takeaway. Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to add really fast that for those of you that, have teams, for those of you that are building teams, work your little tails off to get them there, because seeing them and like seeing everything, experiencing everything through their eyes is like a mom on Christmas morning. I feel like, anyways, like, cause you can see how excited they are. You can see what takeaways they take from it. But I was more excited to see Marie and Kim and Shannon experience this event for themselves. I was excited to see everybody, do not get me wrong, but I was excited for the girls' weekend. We all deserved it. Just to see it in their eyes. And Aspen, when she said have crazy courage, that's the very first thing that I wrote down in my notebook. And Taro's right. We got to work as soon as we were in the car, and I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We got 24 hours to figure out how we're going to put it into place. It is something that I learned in another network marketing business, is to implement something within the first 24 hours and run with it. So I encourage the girls to do a 6 most importance list. I encourage them to invite to our upcoming sip and sample we have going on. So just keep them always working. So that was it. Just work your tails off to get your teams there, because it is so rewarding to see it through their eyes. It's a whole different ballgame seeing it through your team's eyes.
Yeah, that is awesome. My takeaway is literally this Zoom right now. Like Rhonda, whatever Mickey read, like literally brought me, like, I'm glad I didn't start ugly crying, but that was just very moving and very powerful. And sometimes when you've been in a place for a year, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes the shine wears off. We've talked about it before, it loses that sparkle and it kind of gets a little tarnished. And it sometimes takes these events to like get it shiny again and get it, glowing again and get it glittery. And like the truth is, what we have our hands on is so special. And we heard from Steve Burkholder, who his story is phenomenal in itself, but people are building in person. Like in person, you can hear somebody's heart. You can see and feel their passion. And I guess my takeaway would be, when you are building online, like, it's incredible. It's not always fast. Like sometimes it may take 6 months to build a relationship from meeting them into maybe they're going to buy a product, or maybe they're going to take a look at the business. And I think that, in person is something special. And you, like, again, you can feel someone's heart and see their heart. And I don't know, I'm kind of stopped at that after Mickey read that from Rhonda, because like I'm blown away. Like she's lovely and I've chatted with her and we've talked and I've gotten to know her. But to hear that from the new person that has not met anybody in person, but maybe Kim or maybe Lori, I'm not sure who she's met, but to come and feel that she was treated like she is a top leader and sitting at the table, and she is sitting at the same table, but like that speaks to how precious and how beautiful this opportunity is. And all of us are helping foster that and create that. So my takeaway is, like, if you're not sharing it and you're not being bold and you're not being loud, you guys, who's losing? Who's losing? And I think digging into why you said yes, your yes could be very different. Like, yeah, we're like, oh, my why a year ago or 18 months ago was like, I wanted to open a shelter for women and girls coming out of sex trafficking. Okay. That was on my heart. That is what the Lord gave me. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I knew we were going to do it. That's not here. That's not here today. That's not something that's on my heart today. Like, it's shifted, it's changed, it's molded, it's melded, and that's okay. But knowing and being super clear on why you're here today. Right. And not to say I'm not going to serve in another way, but that's not why I'm building Bravenly today. So being super clear, getting down to the nit and grit of that, because that's going to get you up in the morning. I was talking to Jen last night and also was almost moved to tears. She may not know this because I was in the grocery store speed grocery shopping to make sure my kids had lunch today, but she shared what her non-negotiables are and like what this community, she's like, yeah, I need the money, of course. Like if you're here and you're like, oh, we're rich, we're very well off, we don't need the money. Okay, like, okay, then yay. But most of the time, people could benefit from an extra income. You guys, gas is expensive. Groceries are even more expensive. And her, like listening to her, how she's coaching and how she's learning and like what it means to her, like that was moving to me to hear what this is doing for other people. If you're losing sight of your why or why you're here, dig into your team's why, because it is huge. And I remember saying to someone, and somebody said it to me, like, when your team's why becomes your goal, like that gets you up in the morning, it gets you fired up. You'll get to where you want to go by helping people get to where they want to go. And I don't know, I'm in like an emotional space right now. Just hearing that from Rhonda, like really touched me. That was like, you guys, we have such a gift. We have such a gift. Are we going to give it? Or are we going to hold it right here with these 10 people on here, 11 people? Like we have such a gift to share. And we packed that room out yesterday, you guys. It was incredible. And I can't wait to see, other people share next year and get up there and do the Why Bravenly in the different training pieces and parts. And it was very special. And what we have is very special. Like, let's get loud. Let's get loud. We were talking about earlier just about how when our team was like really moving and grooving, you guys, when the magic happens and is when we're all like, all right, no holds, like we're doing this, we're going together. And Lori, I don't know what the saying is because I butcher it every time, but like if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? Is that it? Did I say it finally for the first time correctly? But like we're going together. We're going to go far. We can go fast too, but let's go together. So we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we will see you all next Monday.